What's up, everyone? How's it going? Hopefully you can see my screen, see me. I have some key levels marked on my chart now. Okay, so today what I'm looking for is, let me switch on to my Ethernet. I'm looking for this previous day high here on the YM. We have divergence this previous day low. Now, I'm also considering the fact that YM could manipulate this previous day high, and then we could see NASDAQ and the ES sell off lower. I don't like the lows that I'm seeing here. I really don't like these lows in the market. Okay, we're all failure swings to the sell side. So I'm going to see if we manipulate this high and potentially trade lower. Again, based on this wick size of the daily candle, I really don't want to trade this candle as an expansion candle higher. So I'm going to see what happens at the previous daily high here on the YM, see if we manipulate it, and see if there's opportunity for me to either A, trade the lagging assets to that previous day high, or B, right, trade away from that. So two essential opportunities today. First one is going to be if I can get myself positioned to here with equities open, right? And like a gap or something. Yeah, like a gap or something to get there, which would be like in here, right? It's 50-minute close with a gap. I can get myself to previous day high here, which is this red line, okay? You can see here, right, that this is pretty spaced out, right? If we take out this SMT at the high, you look at the dealing range from previous day high to previous day low, or the current low of day, right? You can see in here that we have YM very close in proximity to its previous day high, while diverging, right, at the previous day low, which is good to see. So we're going to see if we form a manipulation of this high and then trade lower, right, off of this retracement. Then we can trade maybe internal. I can look at this range and say, okay, maybe we can trade back into internal of this range. Like here would be a really good draw on liquidity, right? I have that marked out already for us as well. So where I would target if we go short off of previous day high would be this hourly internal range, right? This is near EQ of the range, right in here. Right? So that would be my sell side objective. But for now, we're just waiting, right? Seeing what equities open does. I'm gonna grab my coffee. I'll be right back. This light behind me is really bright. I guess it just the angle just sucks. Sorry about that. All right, so on open, you can see we have YM expanding here, which is expected, honestly, right? We again, like it's very high likelihood we leave a divergence at this previous day high, right? And open might just be the open high of this 930 candle. This next 30-minute candle could open high. Now, if that's the case, right, we're gonna have this high time from SMT forming, and I could look to trade NASDAQ internal, right? I'll just have to see YM reverse up here. If I don't see YM reverse up here, then I won't take that trade. That idea is only valid if we see open high and then a strength switch lower of YM. I could trade NASDAQ. I'll be patient and wait for these assets to be aligned in their direction. My backlight is too bright. I know that. Yeah, I can see that. It's a bit annoying, yeah? But I don't think you're watching me to see my face, so. If you are, I apologize for how bad this lighting is. So I think YM on 9:30, so on equities open, 10 seconds from now, is just going to take out this high. Right, so you can see we have this type of delivery on open, where NASDAQ is just expanding in one direction, YM is expanding in the other direction. This is a decoupled phase of price. So what I'll wait for is these two resync. Either NASDAQ is manipulating lower here, so that it can go higher, or YM is manipulating higher here, so that it can go lower, right? At this point, I'm unsure, so I wait. I have two obvious draws, though. I have both of them marked out, right? I want to see NASDAQ trade maybe internal and YM trade to this high. So I'm going to see how we react to these levels. That's the majority of trading, is waiting for your key levels. As you can see, NASDAQ comes internal here. We also have ES reaching internal to this gap, while YM expands to the previous day high. So now we're going to see if YM fails to manipulate this high, then it's forming continuation signatures to previous day, to the all-time highs, right? We need to see a strength switch of this asset. We need to see this asset reverse from here and start trading towards these highs. Alternatively, YM could reverse here, right? And we can get a continuation lower. So what we're seeing immediately is NASDAQ start to form a wick from this hourly level of internal range liquidity, which is our key level, right? We've repriced that 6 a.m. low, essentially. Now, again, I'm going to see what happens with YM at this high. But now we're watching, right? YM has expanded through this previous day high. I would need to see NASDAQ reverse here and YM kind of retrace. Realistically, I'd like to see NASDAQ and the ES reverse. Right? They would need to start making their way up back towards the high of this range. We turn off the indicator for a second. Change state of delivery here, right? On NASDAQ. And this asset would offer a retracement. And then we could see a gap and we could expand from that gap again. That would be a continuation signature above all-time high here, or above the previous day high towards the all-time high. Look at this higher time frame perspective, right? That's that next draw. But again, the wick size of this daily candle is aggressive, right? It's large, so. I don't really look at gold. I just trade indices, guys. Yeah. I focus on index futures. Some of my students trade gold and like other commodities markets like oils, stuff like that. I just don't. I focus on just these three markets you see here, which is really just one market. It's the indices triad, right? If we fail to offer support here, then we also have, right, these lows down here, which are very, very smooth lows on the NASDAQ. If you look at a lower time frame again, right, if we do not find internal range liquidity supports, we will probably take out that external range low, right? This is a nice consolidated low. I trade only futures. Yep. I'll invest in other things like options and stocks, but I only day trade, like short-term speculate on the indices futures market, just this market actually. Yeah. It's better to be a specialist, in my opinion. You get a very good understanding for like the nuance of certain price action, right? So we do look to be forming some sort of reversal sequence in here. I need more confirmation of this, of course. Like I would need to see the 15-minute candle close. And again, I'd be looking to trade some sort of retracement into expansion of this candle. Right? It'd be the next 15-minute candle as it opens. I don't want to enter near the high of an expansion candle. But I am starting to qualify a little bit of a reversal here, at least on this market. Right? We have a chain of state delivery. So let's see if we support this down close candle. Right, we have ES has this current 4-hour high as well, right? That hasn't taken out. Likewise with the NASDAQ. That's the current 4-hour high, right? Ideally, I want to be in the YM here, but I don't know if there's going to be a good entry function here. ES's risk to reward isn't fantastic for that high either, right? Although that's a clear draw. This is the clear draw on liquidity. I would require NASDAQ to gain strength here before I took any trade positionally on the indices, right? I would need to see this reverse on NASDAQ. Right. We also have 1800 we can trade back into. which is that daily open. And based on the wick size of this daily candle, I don't like to trade these types of candles beyond the open. So if you look at the daily candle here, the large wick, I don't like to trade these daily candles past its opening price. It's delayed protraction, right? Large wick, small body. Here you can see we have a large wick and a relatively large body. It's not ideal, right? So we can see ES runs out this previous hourly high here too. NASDAQ forms a pretty large divergence of the hourly high. Still in continuation sequence lower. These lows down here look quite promising to me on NASDAQ if we fail to reverse in here. I think this all-time high is going to be a trigger for NASDAQ to trade towards these lows. I'm not seeing a reversal inside of here. So I think this could be held in a consolidation like this until we take out this all-time high. It's just about a 1 hour trade, right? Trading a continuation here on YM. I'd rather just wait and see what happens. This 15-minute closure is not a great closure for me on NASDAQ, right? YM clearly is going to go to all-time high today, like in this move. Probably a next 50-minute candle, right? I'm just not seeing a strong reversal here on NASDAQ, right, to qualify the indices triad reversing. The middle asset to the daily open is also a nice look here with ES. I'm just more curious to see what happens above all-time highs. I think I like this move lower towards this range low more than anything. Do we have SMT above this 30-minute candle, right? Like the previous 50-minute candle. We have a small run of the opposing candle high. And Nasdaq's in a continuation here, right? It's not a bad Nasdaq short. I just don't like fading this all-time high on a YM. If it wasn't so close in proximity to all-time high, I might look for Nasdaq, but it's just too close on YM. This looks good on Nasdaq though. It does. I get a gap or something in here that's retested. I mean, I just don't want to trade away from all-time high like this. Kind of two-sided. But this looks really good as a draw on Nasdaq. This closure here is really good. And for the S&P to reach into these lows. That same low, right? I'd have to aim for PDL on Nasdaq. We're clearly reversing off this. It's retracing, right? But fading this higher time frame failure swing is just the reason why I'm not taking this trade, right? Despite the nice logic for a continuation on Nasdaq. These things are happening pretty quick, though. You can see in a couple minutes we've delivered that draw, right? There's that first draw on NASDAQ getting it. It was a good trade. You see this 4-hour candle here, right? Flipping. So I still have my sell side draws here on NASDAQ, right? I gotta see if I get any reaccumulation now. I'm just kind of opened with no opposing runs, right? Let's see if 10 a.m. offers continuation framework lower. I'm still on the fence just because YM's in very close proximity to all-time highs, but I do like the NASDAQ draws and liquidity. It's the current low of day right here. This looks good. It's uncomfortable shorting this low in the range. We're just so deep in this expansion candle, right? A 1-minute continuation is kind of all I'm being offered. But I would much rather wait to see 10 a.m. open. Anything beyond the current low of day, yeah. I have the higher time frame draw for me, which is NASDAQ to this range low right down here. That's why I'm being more patient to see if this is a true reversal here on the YM. The strength switch is what I want to see, right? NASDAQ for me on the higher time frame should come into these failure swings. I'm just entering the low of this expansion candle, which is not really possible for my like framework, right? So I'll have to wait for 10 a.m. to form its wick. Right, you can see my draws got hit on NASDAQ, but just getting here, there wasn't great reaccumulation to get there. Like I can get a nice bulky opposing run at any point in time. It was just kind of this consolidation, this chop. So like it was hard for me to trade out of this. This was good. This is a strength switch I need to see off the highs, right? That means we manipulate that high and we V'd. But this is hard for me to trade away from that. Let's see how 10 a.m. opens, see if I can form a wick somewhere, and then take a trade. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. All right. So it looks like NASDAQ will hit the current low of day here in this 5-minute candle. Again, I'm more so interested in the higher time frame draws on NASDAQ, right? Like there's not been a lot of opportunity for me to get involved in this 30-minute. I'm really interested in this range low, however. Especially if we can close back up, right? If we can close back within this range for this 30-minute closure, very interesting. So we would form our wick, right, in here in this gap if we're going to trade lower at 10 a.m. It'll be this gap here, right? We're going to look for any sort of divergence that occurs within this gap. I want to see a small opposing run. Because you're right, you're trading off that 15-minute idea that a swing has been created right here, right, at 9:45. So 10 a.m. should be a continuation. So you want to see some premium of this candle respected, right? You want to see a deep retracement. So the only place that can be is that gap. That's where the wick will form. Now I'll be trading NASDAQ, right, towards the range low. This is the current low of day. Let me just go to the higher time frame. This is our current low of day. This is the range low, right? This is really my objective. Current low of day here on yes. Okay, this is that previous 4-hour candle's low. So we want to see this next candle here on the hourly, right? Open high. Give some sort of wick, some sort of opposing run here. I'm going to look to get involved in that logic, right? Failure to manipulate this low means that we should be seeking the next lows, right? If I look at this implied dealing range, right at EQ, right? That's where I want to form a new swing, which would be the 10 a.m. wick, and then trade lower. So everything's mapping out here pretty well. So that previous 4-hour low, we had a shallow run below it. Again, we want to see this candle stay weak, not form SMT and trade higher here. So we'll be watching that as well. If I was to see YM invert this gap, I would just take a YM long to all-time high, like this. That would be another completely viable trade idea, right? Which would just see NASDAQ trade into discount of this range. But again, I'm more focused on the range low at this point in time. Spilled my tea on myself. Ouch. So we do have a small gap in here. We're seeing strength switching off of this 4-hour low. Look at NASDAQ's response off of this previous 4-hour low. I'm not completely opposed to a long here on the YM. That looks something like this. It'd be the same logic, just using this 4-hour low and that SMT divergence, right? And then that strength switch. Now, it is a failure swing of the current low of day, but we also have a failure swing of all-time highs, right? So they're both very important liquidity pools in the market. This is a very important liquidity pool in the market as well. See YM comes into EQ. Right. This range. The strength switch here is what is most interesting to me here on NASDAQ, right? Look at this small opposing run of this 4-hour open, okay? Small opposing run and then aggressive expansion back into the range, right? So here is that first SysD on the YM. If I could see some sort of continuation, like I'm talking about, right? Like if I can see YM do something like this and invert this gap, I would probably go long on the YM. And we also have this 5-minute inverse right here. I'm going to take a starter position on the YM if we get a closure above these highs. Right, you can see this small opposing run below and a strength switch. Now I have a one-stage cracking correlation, but it's a SMT fill with divergence of the range low here. So SMT fill. So it's a 4-hour. You see the 4-hour candles diverging. It's a PSP, okay? But it's also an SMT fill where that PSP is. So this is the asset I want to be trading, okay? And this reaction here now it disqualifies shorts for me. ES has really nice draws too with these equal highs. So I think I'm going to take a long on YM on this closure. I'm going to take a long on YM here, guys. I'm going to be risking that SMT body fill level and then targeting the current all-time high, okay? So that's my logic. I'm going to do this with half size as well. I'm not going to use my full contract size just because right here I only have a one-stage CIC, technically speaking. I just have the range low with that 4-hour PSP. Okay. We'll see. I'm really going to put a little bit of risk on this. Risking all-time high with just half my positions. I'm not going full size on this, just going half size. 48,525 is my full TP though. Okay, let's see what happens. I like the trade a lot. It's around a 1 to 2R, right? So now I'd like to see YM strength switch, right? And give me that strength profile towards that high right off of this divergence. Again, once I see a small opposing run like this, and then a strength switch of NASDAQ and ES, small opposing run, strength switch, I'm eventually thinking strength will come back into this leading asset towards this high. That's why I'm taking this positionally, right? I like to see ES probably break out these highs here. Again, we're very close proximity if you look at a premium discount sequence. We're in very close proximity now to these highs. Let me look at a fib for you guys. See this? Once we come up into here, you just want to see that high taken. And likewise, you don't want to really trade away from this all-time high with this small opposing run, right? So everything in here is only giving me a long signal. Although the manipulation lower on NASDAQ was definitely tradable as well. So if you were able to capitalize on taking the NASDAQ short somewhere up here, that logic is fairly consistent towards these lows, but no longer past these lows, in my opinion. So we have that 5-minute inverse we were talking about. It's right here. So yeah, our stop can go, my stop's going to go near the bodies on the 1-minute chart, but this is essentially the entry you want to take right in this 5-minute inverse, right? Cool. I hope that logic makes a lot of sense for you guys, right? As to why I'm no longer framing the sell side delivery in this, open low fractal of the 10 a.m. candle. It just doesn't support trading lower once we form this divergence. Look at the 4-hour chart here. Look at how we fail to manipulate this high, and then price comes in and forms a divergence with the range low. All of these lows down here is what we're diverging at, okay? So we have a very high time frame SMT forming with that 4-hour low, but also look at what YM is doing. YM's opening into a what? Like, what is more robust about this idea? What is YM opening up into above this high? What do you guys see on my chart? What's labeled? Like, what is this? What is that gray box? I'll do an account giveaway for the people, someone who could tell me what this is right here. Like, we're failing to manipulate the high, but what is this gray box I've marked out? Why am I bullish on YM? What is this gray box telling me? Yeah, it's an SMT fill. Yeah, it's a gap, and a gap is telling me what? What does a gap tell me? It's displacement, right? So this PSP on the 4-hour that we're using the SMT fill for, right? The logic of this 4-hour PSP SMT fill with the range low. Look at this low right here I've marked out, okay? This massive high time frame SMT that looks like this, really high time frame, premium discount sequence. We're very likely to leave this SMT, but then what are we forming the SMT into? It's the gap. Really high confluence signature, right? So I only have one TP today, guys. It's going to be all-time high, and I'm going to take everything off there. But it's a really, really fantastic idea, right? You can see how the logic there makes a lot of sense for us, right? So we're looking pretty good right now at the moment. I'm gonna pick some winners. Yeah, and I like the word intention. Who said that? Hassan. I like the word intention, right? An SMT fill, right, with that higher time frame PSP shows intention. It's a really good word to use. Okay, I picked some winners. They're all starred. So I'll send them over to Aqua, and they will do the giveaway. I'm just gonna take the all-time high, guys. That's it. That's all I'm aiming for. My trade is based around that idea of all-time high. I want to see ES break this high here. If you look at a higher time frame chart, I'm very interested in seeing if ES wants to take out this high. And my objective now is to see the all-time high. That's the only place I'm looking for price to go. Pretty large wick here to form the close this 5-minute candle, but it could just be a retracement. Again, we don't know what's going to happen necessarily, right? It's either going to be TP or SL for me. I'm not going to move my stop loss to break even here. I'm too close to my draw to do that, unfortunately. So I won't be able to mitigate like actively my risk like that, but we'll see what happens, right? It could come all the way back down and stop me out. Who knows? What's important that you guys understand is the logic, right? The logic is way more important than the trade outcome because this logic repeats again and again. Like I've been trading, every trade I've taken this week has been live, either in my Discord or in in YouTube streams, right? And you can see the same logic is just kind of repeating again and again and again. So it's effortless, right, to click the button. We don't have to stress too much about the actual button being clicked, like the long being taken. This guy said, I think stop loss will get hit. Why is guy preying on my downfall like that? Black myth, this guy. You guys see that? I think stop loss will get hit. Hey man, I think TP will get hit. That's funny. Preying on my downfall, I see. What's your criteria for break even? For me, like, for example, if we ran this high, if we close above this high, I'll go break even. It's the current swing formation, right, against me. So if I close above this 15-minute high here, I'll go break even. Right now, I need to let some structure form, right? Price can come in, form a new swing, expand, right? So at the moment, just got to be patient, right? Like get out of the way. The best thing to say is get out of the way of the market, right? Let the market do what it wants to do and don't stand in its way, because if you actively stand in the market's way, you're probably going to force yourself into a stop loss or a premature close your position, either for you or against you. Some people will take aggressive partials and stuff like that as well. You just got to kind of step out of the way of the market, right? Remember, the market has no idea we're in this trade, believe it or not. The market has no idea. The market's going to do what it's going to do, whether or not I'm in a trade or not, right? So in this case, just stepping out of the way. Yeah, I already did the giveaway, actually. There's 6 winners today, and they're all starred. So everyone who commented when I asked for the specific question will be a giveaway winner, and Aqua will release those. I send the list over to Aqua, and then they follow up with your YouTube channels. So I have it right here. I'm going to send it over right now. There's a mod at Aqua who reaches out to YouTube channels. How do we know if we are the winner? Aqua will reach out to you. I have the winners right here. It's Hassan, Mohammed, Kane. I can't pronounce your name. Umami, Pratham, and June. They're all starred. I have them. Just come all my streams, guys. I do account giveaways. Just show up to my streams. Yeah. And if you're fortunate, right, it's pretty good chances you'll get an account. If you show up to all my streams, there's like 60, 70 people who come. There's 6 giveaway winners. You have a 10% chance. It's not bad odds. It's really good odds. Show up for a couple streams every week. You'll guaranteed win an account. Okay, let's see what happens with this, right? Right now, this for me is just set and forget. There's nothing else I'm doing. Like, I'm not going to manage this anymore. So we'll just kind of watch this, see what happens, and see if we hit our TP or hit our SL. So my draw on liquidity for the other markets, which would be the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, would be the daily open. You see I've marked out this daily open. If you guys have ever studied some of my stuff that I put out there, this is called a delayed protraction profile. It's where the market opens with a large opposing run, okay? So the daily candle offers a large opposing run. I don't like to trade these candles past their opening prices. So what I look for is for price to return to the open. And this would here be measured as the protraction phase of a candle, right? So a large wick supports a small body. That's why the logic for trading to the open of the daily candle exists, right? I don't really trade past the open. I just trade the protraction phase back into our open. Okay, that's the logic I use very, very frequently when I see a candle that looks like this in the higher time frame. That's also a fractal concept, by the way. So you can apply that concept to other time frames of candles. So no, for me, this is a delayed protraction, clearly. You can see that we open this day. We trade lower immediately in Asia into New York, and we get a New York reversal. Open, low, high, close near the daily candle's open, okay? So we would expect that this daily candle would close as a function of price near its open, which would look like an exaggerated wick to the downside with a smaller body. Now, this candle in here is a little bit paradoxical to that statement because we have a large body and a large wick at the moment, right? You can see there, it's because there is a high time frame draw on liquidity. I will trade past the opening price of this daily candle with a high time frame draw. Okay. High time frame draw, I will trade beyond the open because we have this all-time high, right? The extreme of the higher time frame range. That's a really good draw on liquidity. Yes, I did announce the winners. Yes. And if you show up to the next stream, you will very likely be a winner yourself. Just show up, right? Show up, leave a like, right? Leave a comment if this video is helpful for you guys. I appreciate all the feedback. If you need to ask me any questions, I have a Discord you can join. I'm pretty active on my social medias as well, like Twitter, on my YouTube as well, right? The goal for these streams is for you guys to come and understand my process. The best thing that can come out of this is you guys can say, hey, I understand this trade. I also took that trade. Or, hey, I don't understand this trade. How can I better understand this trade in the future, right? Wins and losses are kind of irrelevant. Can we expect the lagging asset to play catch up? Again, I wouldn't trade past the opening price. The middle asset of the S&P 500 was a fantastic trade as well today. I would not trade NASDAQ and ES past the daily open. So I would have a big X at the daily open. And personally, the way I trade, I wouldn't trade past that open. So this would be the capping of the daily range right here. I would not trade past here. Now it could come up to here. Absolutely. This is the previous day high, right? Absolutely, it could come up to here. You wouldn't see me taking that trade. It's just there's a logic to protraction of candles, right? The wick is very large. Exactly. Yep. It's a simple logic, right? We use protraction profiles to establish high probability swings for expansion. And when you have very large wicks, those high probability swings for expansion don't exist. You usually get price settling, closing near its opening price. So once YM closes a candle body through this high, I will opt for a break even. Again, you can see the S&P 500 is returning to its open now. I'd like to see YM gain some strength towards that all-time high now. Really should just make a final push in here towards that all-time high. It looks like a very good trade, yeah. At the moment. Anything can happen, though. I do want to go break even rather quickly here, especially because ES has taken out this range high. So I'm going to go for a break even right now, guys. Okay. So right now, at this moment in time, I'm reducing my risk to break even. So let me just go to my broker and quickly manage that for myself. And then I'll get back to the stream. Give me 1 second, guys. So I am now break even on this idea. I will no longer take a loss on this idea based on the proximity to my draw on liquidity, which is 1.98 R from my entry. So So I'm now break even on the idea. Okay, guys, let's see what happens. If it comes all the way back down to my stop loss before delivering the draw, it's going to take me out. And I'm okay with that. I don't want to hold all the way down. So I've opted for this break even, right? Because I got a candle body closure here and the proximity to the draw would not support a deep retracement. Really fantastic trade today. Very patient we were, right? The most important thing we did today was exercise a great degree of patience, right? Patience, not patience. We were patient, right? We waited. We wanted to take maybe NASDAQ shorts. We wanted to take YM longs, but we just didn't see any framework. And when we wait for it, right, nice things happen. This reinforces doing the right things with your system. And it rewards us today, right? We are not looking for sell side, brother. We are in a trade to all-time highs on the YM. We are in a long right now to 45,528. Let's see if we can smack our TP here. That'd be really nice. We're extremely close to our TP. At this point, I expect price to just aggressively run our TP, right? I'm about 5 points away, 3 points away, and 1 point away. And there you go. I'm out of the trade. Full TP hit. 2R. Fantastic day. Wow. Great day today. So I am going to call my day there. I don't usually take more than one trade when I've won. I'm a one and done type of guy. I'm on a 4-5 trade win streak right now. So definitely don't want to overtrade. And yeah, can I do another giveaway? I already did the giveaway, bro. I'll be doing another giveaway tomorrow. I'm going to stream again tomorrow, guys. So Friday, 11 a.m. I'll hit a quick stream as well because I missed my yesterday's stream due to FOMC. So guys, if you want to see me trade every week, right? Show up Monday and Thursday. I'm here on Market Open. 11 a.m. on Wednesday, Monday, Thursday. I'm here trading, trying to teach you guys a little bit. If you want to learn more from me, if you have more questions from me, join my Discord. Shoot me a message on Twitter. Right? I'm here to interact with you guys. Okay, cool guys. Peace. Have a good one.